Today, we're going to be checking out the new Seymour Duncan Nazgul Sentient Rails pickup set. So very recently, Seymour Duncan unveiled they were working on something pretty cool. It was definitely unexpected. I wasn't expecting a rail version of some of their most iconic pickups. They also did the JB, which is hugely iconic, but they did the Nazgul Sentient, which are some of the most modern classic metal pickups ever made. So of course I had to check them out. Now beyond this just being really cool and me wanting to check it out, I had other reasons for wanting to check this out. Back in the day when, before I even started this channel, the Nazgul came about, if a lot of you remember, when Keith Merrill was working with Seymour Duncan, and he was a big part of that pickup and its design and how it came about. It became, at the time, it was my favorite passive pickup ever, and it was just such a great pickup. It's still one of my favorite pickups of all time, and the Sentient is probably my favorite neck pickup ever made, bar none. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for Keith Merrill. So, I mean, you guys can go blame him for this channel. His music and his channel means a lot to me, and he inspired me to do this, and I always associated that pickup with him, so I absolutely had to check this out. Plus, that pickup was definitely a big part of the channel in the early days, which, for God's sake, don't go watch my early videos. Don't. Now, one thing to go over before we go over the rest of the features of the pickups and how they might differ a little bit from the original Naz Sentient is these are actually a little bit longer. And I had the same problem with the Jupiter. I couldn't put these in my Solar Type G guitar, or G-Type, or whatever they call it. Normally, you guys see me demo metal pickups for the most part in that guitar. This was actually in my FGN, and the reason was the Solar is direct mount, and these are a little bit too wide for that mount. They're fine in pickup rings. It's not like they're too wide for pickup rings, but they're just a little bit longer, and they just didn't fit in there. Same for the Jupiter. I had that problem when I wanted to put the 6-string Jupiter in that guitar and demo that back in the day, which I never ended up demoing it because I couldn't fit it in that guitar, unfortunately. So definitely something to keep in mind. If you have direct mount pickups or a direct mount guitar, double check before buying them that they're gonna fit. So how are the pickups? How do they actually sound? How do they actually feel to play? Like all of that good stuff. Well, and how are they different too? Well, I mean, the original Nazgul, I mean, ceramic, right? But the new Nazgul Sentient rail set, these are actually Alnico 8 magnets. So some a little bit different, but I think that it worked for these. Now with the blades, of course, you would expect, you know, it to be a little bit more top endy. I mean, I think that we're just all accustomed to that from other blade pickups, but these do have more top end, definitely, than a standard Nazgul or Sentient set. That was the first thing I immediately noticed. They are brighter for sure, definitely a little bit more cutting. So if maybe if you didn't like the Nazgul and thought that it was a little bit too just mid-rangey or too flat or didn't have enough brightness for you, this could definitely be something for you. But as you can see too, comparing the outputs from the Seymour Duncan website, the second thing I noticed is these, especially that Nazgul pickup, are definitely hotter than the original. That was something that surprised me a lot. I hit my Savage and just got so much more saturation out of it than I was expecting to. Now, even with the extra top end and the extra output, they are still going to be voiced very similarly. They have all that nice mid-range that the Nazgul has, and the Sentient is that very nice scoop with a lot of top end, so it's very chimey, it's very good for leads, but also just gorgeous for cleans, which is why it's my favorite neck pickup, like I said, pretty much ever. And this really has that, just with a bit more output and top end, like I said. So you're still going to be getting the essence of what these pickups are and why people love them and why they're considered to be modern classics. But again, a little bit brighter and definitely hotter. So if that's something that interests you, I mean, these are definitely worth checking out. Or of course, if you're just a fan of the Nazgul and Sentient and maybe want to check out something else that's a little bit different but still familiar and in your wheelhouse, again, definitely worth checking out. So that's covering how they're different in all the important and significant ways, other than, of course, you know, blade pole pieces instead of regular pole pieces, you know, slugs. So let's actually hear this thing outside of a mix and just kind of play around and hear how it interacts with my Engels. So like I said, this is in my Fujigen, my FGN Neo Classic, and this is going to be going directly into my Engels Savage Mark 220 watt, which will then be going into my Two Notes Captor X, which I have loaded with my personal IR that you can actually download now. I have a link to that down in the description if you want to check it out. But it's mostly a DV77, an Eminence DV77, and I have a hair, maybe about 5-10% of the blend is from a VM1265 from Omega. But we're going to hear that on the high gain channel and the clean channel. Let's just check it out. Definitely more output, was really getting saturated with my Savage more than some other pickups I have. And it definitely was more bitey. Like you could hear it, especially on the clean channel where it was kind of driving that clean channel a little bit harder. I think that was that came across pretty clear. And it was also just the output of it was causing the clean channel to break up even on the neck pickup a bit with that extra brightness. A little bit different from the original Sentient for that neck pickup. And wow, this thing just was super hot and chunky going into that Savage. So if that's something you're into, you're looking for maybe a little bit hotter or a little bit different flavor for either the Nazgul or the Sentient, I would definitely say these are worth checking out. I mean, I might be a little bit biased because I do love the Nazgul and Sentient. They're, like I said, some of my favorite pickups of all time, and they had a big part to do with the beginnings of this channel. But I'd like to know your thoughts, if you like the originals or if you don't. If you like to try these because you like the originals, or if maybe you didn't like the originals and now you think that you might like these because they're a little bit different, might be a bit brighter or hotter or whatever, you know. Leave your comments down below. I am going to have a link down below. That link is going to be with my Sweetwater affiliate link. So while I'm not paid to make these videos, and Seymour Duncan did send me these to check out, which was really cool of them, I don't get paid to make these, and I don't really make any money off of ad revenue. So if you want to help me out, it'd be great. You can just use my Sweetwater affiliate link, maybe check out these Seymour Duncans, some others, or any other gear. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but it definitely helps me out. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay metal.